Sunday, 6 January 1985. Maturity in spiritual life.
In our world, in various countries, in all ages. Let us meditate on the glory of the divine incarnation. Peace unto us all. Today is the birthday of Swami Virajananda. He happens to be a very highly illumined soul. He was one of the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, no doubt, but among the disciples of Sri Ramakrishna, there are various categories. So he was very much appreciated by his other disciples for his scholarly as well as spiritual life. Not only that, he was a minister of the society for some time, and he worked in the states also. Anyway, I will be reading it from his teachings, which is from spiritual talks. You will have to work your mind yourself. Others cannot do that for you. The Master had said again and again, you must try a little. Only then will the teacher or the Master or God reveal the truth. Let me tell you from our experience that if anyone advances towards God a single step, he advances towards Him 10 steps. This is our personal experience. If you do not exert, none can do anything for you. You must analyze your mind very carefully. The Master asked me to increase my lust infinitely. I was amazed to hear it. He then explained what is lust. It is desire to get. Then desire to get him and strengthen this desire greatly. The Master used to say that he could not bear the sight of egoistic persons. In course of a letter to which the Swami wrote that day to a devotee, he observed, if you are miserable for not having realized God, the more this mood grows, the more you will earn His grace. Intensify it still more, and if your misery is due to other reasons, then carefully shake it off. Mere suppression of passions helps little. There must be a high ideal along with self restraint. Without a high ideal, the passions will find another outlet. You must give them a new direction, and then you will be automatically rid of them. Take refuge in me and control the senses. As for example, lust. Think that you are his child. So why should you be so low as to be lustful, or think that you are ever pure? One must never retaliate, one must always endure. If you retaliate, it must rebound on you. At one time, I felt that even every footstep of mine was through his power, and that I was nothing. I clearly felt this. This feeling lasted for some days. Whatever is good is his, and whatever is bad is the result of our own karma. If we continue this attitude, we may eventually get rid of the ego. Real peace is far off until we take spiritual life. But if you find that man's desire for sense enjoyment is growing less and less, his love is extending over all beings, then you may know that he is progressing towards God. Simply repeating the holy name will not do. If there is a hole of attachment in the mind, the result of japa will run out through it. A man irrigated his field all day, but in the evening he found that all the water had run out through a hole. Not a drop had remained in the field. I remember a beautiful saying of Nag Mahasaya in this connection. I had been to his house. His father was practicing japa sitting in a corner. Nag Mahasaya said to me, "Bless my father that he may have true devotion to God. He has already got it," I replied. "He is constantly repeating the name of God. What more do you want?" Nag Mahasaya rejoined, "What is the use of rowing a boat which is at anchor? My father is much attached to me. What good will his japa do? If he is not to love a son like you, whom else who should he love?" said I. "Don't say so, don't say so," he cried out. "Only bless that he may lose all attachment for me." He who truly has his faith has already reached the goal. But is it easy to have that faith? One must beware of self-delusion. Those who have absolute trust in God will be at once purified through His grace. Though they might have committed heinous sins before, just apply a little spark of fire to a mountain high heap of cotton. The whole mass will be consumed in no time. If you bring light into a room which has been dark for 1,000 years, Will the darkness go gradually or all at once? The Lord says in the Gita, even if a very wicked man worships me with devotion to none else, he should be regarded as good, for he has rightly deserved. Soon he becomes righteous and attains to eternal peace. O son of Kunti, boldly canst thou proclaim that my devotee is never perished? Even if the greatest villain resigns himself entirely to him, he must be considered a devotee, and soon he becomes righteous. Through his grace, he no longer remains a villain, but becomes a pious man. An expert dancer never takes a wrong step. No sin can possibly be committed by him who surrenders himself to God, although he might have committed many misdeeds before. I'm reading from Swamiji's Work and Its Secret in second volume. The spiritual maturity will demand that we become little realistic. Mere shouting certain shibboleths or jargons or platitudes will not help us. So Goebbels was a minister of propaganda during Nazi regime, and he was very expert, rather excels everybody in the world in doing so perfectly, minutely and meticulously. But when Germany was surrounded by Allied forces, you know the condition of Germany. So German nation cannot be befooled in that way by giving false propaganda all the time. So propaganda does not help us. So we must be a little realistic to know the real situation. And this situation is being explained here by Swami Vivekananda. We get only that, this you will get, Work and Its Secret in second volume, page number 7. We get only that for which we are fitted. Let us give up our pride and understand this, that never is misery undeserved. There never has been a blow undeserved. There never has been an evil for which I did not pave the way with my own hands. We ought to know that. Analyze yourself, and you will find that every blow you have received came to you because you prepared yourself for it. You did half, and the external world did the other half. That is how the blow came. That will sober us down. That will help us to be humble. At the same time, from this very analysis will come a note of hope. A note of hope is, I have no control of the external world, but that which is in me, nearer unto me, my own world, is in my control. If the two together are required to make a failure, if the two together are necessary to give me a blow, I will not contribute the one which is in my keeping. And how then can the blow come? If I get real control of myself, blow will never come. Blow can be avoided by ignoring it. by not giving too much mind to it. So this is a note of hope also, because if we sincerely try to seek the grace of God, thinking that His infinite mercy will definitely help me some way or other to bear the pain and aches of my life, and in the end, He will definitely rescue me and give me respite and peace. Because down the edges, this is the only protection we are seeking from Him. We are all battered, we are all depressed, we are all plagued, we are all confronted. In times of crisis, we all raise our hand, we all seek His guidance and His protection. And having that conviction within us, the lesson of history has transmitted this precious wisdom unto us, that He and He alone is our Savior. So let us try to resign ourselves at His feet, at His hands. And by doing so, we will be able to minimize our sufferings. That is the maturity of spiritual life. When we begin spiritual life, we think that within few years we shall achieve samadhi. That is the attitude of most of the people. Even somebody was asking Sri Ramakrishna in Dakshineshwar, will you kindly teach me samadhi? Well, when we try to practice a little, then we find it is not that easy. But without creating any depression in our mind, it can help us to create that necessary enthusiasm or inspiration to carry forward our struggle with unabated zeal, because we know nothing is lost. Whatever we are able to do with our limited capacity, everything is preserved, everything will be rewarded, and everything it will be crowned with success in due course, and that will strengthen us. Now, what is the greatest wisdom? Greatest wisdom is this, that supreme reality is behind us as well as behind this universe. And that reality has manufactured this world. And that reality sustains us. So that reality has to be pursued in all our walks of life. Therein lies peace, therein lies salvation, therein lies security, therein lies strength, therein lies enlightenment. So He and He alone is the source of all beatitude. That is the greatest wisdom that history has handed down to us. And if we try to ignore that precious jewel, that precious lesson, then we are creating trouble for ourselves and also helping others to be landed into crisis. Then another thing is there, those who are little matured in spiritual life, they will think that, well, the native and deepest impulse in human life is to seek happiness. Every one of us, in every moment, we are trying to seek happiness. That is quite true, and it is never bad. most of us, due to our bad orientation, bad upbringing, bad cultural attitude, bad native impulses, we seek happiness in senses. But senses are limited, senses are fleeting, senses are transitory, evanescent. It cannot deliver the higher satisfaction because the very character of the senses is limited. It cannot give you unlimited satisfaction. So we are to mature spiritual practitioner will think that sensuous enjoyment will not help us to get that enlightenment or peace which we are searching. Then the realm of spirit, out of which the senses have been manufactured, are to be sought after. So the great men of wisdom and erudition, of observation, illumined souls, sages, saints, even ordinary persons living in the world, they have all found out that limitations of the senses, illusory nature of the senses, and they have tried to shift their attention to have peace, to have satisfaction in the realm of spirituality, in the realm of God, in the realm of spirit. So one consuming desire in all great faiths, notwithstanding their so many differences, that supreme happiness lies in spirit, not in senses. So Christ says, man does not live by bread alone, because God is the Alpha and Omega of all things, of all beings. So we can live with bread, but we have to supplement that diet by having a nourishing philosophy of life. So bread plus philosophy will give us total satisfaction. So mature spiritual life, which will definitely come to the conclusion that all things betray thee who betray me. That Francis Thompson wrote when he was extremely depressed condition. He was poor, he has no living, nothing of the sort. But his wisdom was articulated through this great poem, Hound of Heaven. All things betray thee who betrays me. So long we are trying to betray our noble self, our real reality, our God, our spirit. And so long we are trying to engage ourselves in search of peace, in search of happiness, in search of pleasure in the realm of senses, we are betraying Him, or we are betraying ourselves. Our real selves, our noble selves, our higher selves. By continuously betraying our higher selves, we are degrading ourselves and inviting trouble for ourselves. That is the meaning of the poem. All things betray thee who betray that his or her higher self. Now those who are matured in spiritual life, to a certain extent, they will understand that that day I was telling that 10 millions of atom bombs or any other lethal weapons ever invented by any group of scientists in any age will not be able to annihilate our actions. So the actions are imperishable. Actions are eternal. Actions can never be destroyed by anything. Neither fire can burn, nor moisture can destroy. Having that sort of conviction, as Swamiji was telling that how we can protect by organizing our own life, by not showing reaction to the outer world, we can minimize our trouble. I have got no control in outer world. Even Toynbee writes that in this modern age, one's heart is the citadel of one's fort, of protection. He says that we have to protect ourselves in our own heart because everything is vulnerable. You cannot find any security or guarantee anywhere. Neither democracy, nor in communism, nor in any other ism, nor in any social setup. So, the citadel of peace, citadel of security is our own heart. So in that way, if we understand that, then certainly we will be able to understand this also, that if that is the supreme value or most valuable thing which defies to be disintegrated or destroyed, let me take care of my own thoughts, of my own actions, of my own dealings. And by improving my quality of life, by expressing the divine urges through me, definitely I am creating a better world for me and I am enjoying my life here and now by changing my attitude, by harboring the noble thoughts, and by expressing those noble attributes through me for the good of the humanity. So they are always engaged in good work. They always are engaged in controlling their irrational drives. So mature spiritual life will definitely give them this suggestion of enlightenment or insight that the supreme fact has to be noted here, that our own thoughts, our own ideas, our own thinkings, our own doings are very, very, very important. Under the mask of spirituality or religion, we cannot hide all those things because that ever vigilant God is within our heart. He knows everything. So we shall try to improve the quality of life as much as possible without trying to bask in the sunshine of certain atmosphere or attainments. Then secondly it comes, where is God? Where should I seek Him? Well, God is in the heart. Ramakrishna says that is the best living room for God. Try to hear Him. Try to feel Him in your heart. Through your conscience, you will be getting certain hints of His presence. Then third thing will come, that peace is in the mind. Peace is not goods. We want to have a good life, not goods life. Too many goods are there. Too many goods are necessary, as bread is necessary. But bread plus philosophy will give us satisfaction. Bread has to be supplemented by philosophy. So we have to have some goods, no doubt. But mind is most important. Mind is peaceful with less goods. Mind is turbulent with plenty of goods. When Sri Ramakrishna was suffering from cancer, then Turiyananda Swami told him, "Well, I see you are very happy." He told, "What a fool you are. Now, how you are? I believe you are very happy." "Well, what a fool you are. Do you think that the body becomes a saint? Body is body. Your body, my body, everybody's body is body. But mind becomes saint. Mind becomes pure. Mind is transmuted. Mind is becoming God. So mind remains unaffected because it is cultivated seriously in such a way as to rid of the passions, dispassionate mind, pure mind, God-oriented mind, mind rooted in God. That mind remains unaffected. It is not very much touched by the disease of the body. But body is vulnerable, body is compound, everybody's body will react in the same way. So the third principle of a mature spiritual life is that mind is the seat of peace, also the seat of restlessness. So instead of draining our energy in improving the outer situations and not giving any attention to the peaceful mind, or instead of giving any attention how to make peace within the mind, how not to react, how to be dispassionate, how to be detached, or how to keep ourselves engaged in the thought of God, then the other things will gradually dissipated. Then those who are trying to secure certain grades in spiritual life by developing maturity, they will not be a chatterbox, certainly not. Because they become humble, they become circumspect, they become thoughtful, they become meditative. Sense of wonder haunts them. What a world! What a creator! So that creation and its wonder and its beauty and its majesty and its mystery of human mind is so compelling, it does not give them any chance to become a chatterbox, a talkative person. They become silent. Swami Shivananda used to be very silent whenever he is not in the company of others, because by talking to others in his own way was a great service he was rendering to people. So he used to observe silence very meticulously during Navaratri time, 9 days. Not a single word sometimes escaped from his lips. Anyway, these spiritually matured people are so much engrossed with the thought of divine creation or divine grace or divine beauty that does not give them sufficient time to dissipate their energy for the talks. Then we have got Maya and Daya. Daya means your compassion, feeling for others. Maya means attachment. We are so attached with others that we cannot get rid of that attachment. Now, to do something for others due to attachment is one thing, and to do something for others without having that attachment out of sheer benevolent motive is quite different thing. Those who are spiritually matured people, they may also be doing work in the society. They are not silent spectators. But they have got no, or at least very little, attachment. They are far above the ordinary souls. And so they are impelled by that divine sentiment which is welling forth through their lives in the form of compassion, in the form of love, sympathy, and feelings. The sixth is that mechanical routine. Huri Maharaj was repeating the name of Lord, Japam, and all these things. In a mechanical way, it has got some value. We do not deny it has got no value. But if we want to expedite our spiritual progress, if we want to feel within ourselves to a certain extent about the divine beatitude or its impact in us, or to be absorbed by that thought, or to get a foretaste of that spiritual life, then we have to be a little intelligent, little thoughtful, and then the devotion which comes out of love, that devotion is helping us quickly to make progress. But mechanical devotion to a pattern-bound routine life, that is good, no doubt. Those who cannot master that sort of devotion, that they are at least doing something. Nothing goes in vain. But if you want to hasten the progress, if you want to quicken one's spiritual results, then one has to be little thoughtful and introspective, that they have to cultivate love for God. As Sri Ramakrishna says, the love for God, like a tiger preys on the cubs. So it also eats up the passions. So by developing love for God and developing loving, worshipful attitude towards God, the lower passions are subdued. So spiritually matured persons will try to shift his or her mind, attention, to that aspect, how to develop love, and the force of love which will take them towards God. And without that love, spiritual life is bound to be pattern-bound, mechanical, and conventional. Although it has got a great merit, no doubt about it. Sri Ramakrishna says that teacher's word is very valuable to a disciple, to a student, and devotion to God is very, and control of lust and senses. Now, those who are matured in spiritual life, they will try as much as possible to practice control over their senses, to follow the mandates of their teacher as much as possible, and to cultivate devotion for God. Blessed is the man who is mad after God, because few people in the world are always available to respond in that way. So these few people are really the light of this world. They are the salt of the earth. They are the real teachers. Not only that, Swamiji says, these few illumined souls are only helping us to live. We are thinking these people are, well, called parasites. But no, the distant star is not parasite. It has got great value. Nothing is redundant. So like that distant soul practicing spiritual life in unknown corner, unknown, unheard, is really helping us to lead life. Swamiji says, Swamiji is very vocal, and we have to accept his view because he is illumined soul, he knows all this mystery. Lives of few Paramahamsas are holding us together. If they are allowed to depart from this world, the world will be turned to pieces. Then mature spiritual life, which also will help us to gain this insight that suffering has got certain merits also. Too much suffering is definitely bad. We cannot bear it. We are crushed. But if we are not always very disenchanted, depressed at the sight of suffering, and if we try to think suffering from a different perspective, well, suffering can also teach a lot. Rather, we may not be able to learn many lessons, many precious lessons in our lives when we are far away from sufferings, when we are very happy. But the sting of suffering may quicken our spiritual life by taking the real suggestion from it. So it gives us tremendous education. It is an educative force, curative force. So no matter how we are pushed to God, that doesn't matter. We may go willingly, we may not go willingly. But when we are pushed to God to seek our redress from Him, being confronted by evils and crises, that also is helping us to be in tune with God. So the sufferings, misfortunes, crises are also equally helping us to be reawakened, to be re-educated, to be re-enlightened. That is a very helpful suggestion we are getting from these areas. Had there been no suffering, we have been simply wallowing in the mud of sensuality, but never take any step in curing our diseases, or there is no disease in trying to discipline ourselves. We are forced to discipline ourselves. We are forced to seek God within ourselves because we are in trouble, because we are in crisis. So this crisis, the troubles, the miseries, the pains, the aches, the anguish, the tears, are also very helpful, provided we take their help in understanding the life, the causes of these miseries and sufferings, and at the same time, how to be disenchanted from our pet theories which has brought this crisis, and how to take lessons from these miseries, from the school of miseries, and how to rediscipline ourselves, redirect ourselves, recast ourselves. So mature spiritual living will definitely take help from the miseries, from the sufferings, from the anguish, from the pains. And they, not as a sadist, they will invite them, but when they have come, instead of brooding over the lapses, they will try to get certain education, why they have come, what is the result, what is the outcome of my past, and try to eradicate those evil thoughts and ideas. And we'll try to redirect their energies in a different way. So, as we are talking, that soul force has to be aroused, because that is the only precious property or precious gems has been bequeathed to us. Therein lies peace, therein lies security, therein lies health, therein lies wisdom, therein lies enlightenment, therein lies everything. And that source, that God, is within, deeply implanted in every organism. Feeling uselessness. So long some friends once are, so long some people are benefited by my life in any way, I am to think that my life is useful. At least some people want me. Some people enjoy my talent. So this usefulness has to be cultivated further so that we feel really useful by intensifying our zeal to make progress in that line. We also think matured life, spiritual living also helps them to think, well, sincerely by talking about God, sincerely by trying to improve our life, sincerely by projecting the image of God, sincerely by serving towards that spiritual life or by serving that environment through any way, physically, mentally, intellectually, aesthetically, spiritually, we are proving ourselves useful. Society may not be able to give their attention to our small lives, unknown, unsung, unheard, unwept, unmourned. But God within us knows our every thoughts and actions, and we also know that we are trying to improve ourselves by coming closer to Him through our devotion. It doesn't matter, the world does not take note of it. So that usefulness gives us happiness. That I am useful to somebody. Somebody loves me. So that usefulness should not be wiped out, should not be effaced from the society. Somebody will be deprived. And gradually it can be focused. So this soul force has to be cultivated. And therein lies our courage, therein lies our heroism, therein lies our chivalry, therein lies our also intellectual ability. When Swamiji was very much tired and exhausted while trekking the long paths of Himalayas, he was feeling very exhausted and tired. He could not lift his limbs. At that moment of crisis, he used to think, well, should I think that I am a body? Or should I think that I am soul tethered to a body? Soul does not know any tiring. It has got no exertion. It is immutable. It is ever pure. Then why I am thinking this way? By continuously pondering over the grandeur and majesty and mystery of soul, he used to get himself energized. He used to feel a different current of life. and he used to stand up. He used to give up his cowardice, his human weaknesses, and he used to trek miles after miles in the Himalayas. So by arousing this whole force, by thinking of its glory, its majesty, its dignity, its mystery, its divinity, by keeping ourselves well aware of its usefulness, potentiality, we can minimize the troubles of our bodies and mind. Fatigued body and fatigued mind will always give us trouble, no doubt. It has got its own limitations. But energy will come, life will come, vitality will come, strength will come, inspiration will come from that source of spirit, which is the genesis of everything. How to keep our mind towards that supreme source of reality and how to draw sustenance from that source is the work of a spiritually matured person. Let me read a few lines from Swami Vivekananda, which can be practiced by each one of us if we want to practice it. Every act of charity, every thought of sympathy, every action of help, every good deed takes so much of self-importance away from our little selves and make us think of ourselves as the lowest and the least. As Swami Tathagatananda says, that if we think that God is doing everything, then self-importance or egoistic attitude will be wiped out in course of time. By continually thinking of God's supremacy in this world and my smallness, which will be nowhere to project His image and to create trouble in us. This we can easily practice it. So we have got devotion. We cannot say we have got no devotion. We cannot say we have got no love for God. We cannot say that we have got no feeling for higher life. We have got everything. Just we have to little accentuate them or intensify them, strengthen them. That's all. So matured spiritual living will certainly tell us that this is a terra firma. This is a gigantic rock. This immutable rock, indestructible rock, will give shelter to everybody, has given shelter to everybody, and will give shelter to everybody down the ages because it is eternal, because it is perennial, because it defies death. So that rock is within our heart. That rock can be touched, can be felt, can be experienced, can be enjoyed here. How to keep that touch? How our crawling devotion will get a flaming wings? How our drooping spirits will be energized? How our faltering footsteps can be steadied? That can only be done only by coming in contact with that supreme seat of power, magazine of power, which everybody has got. Nobody is denied in the world. Not even the homeless persons in this hard winter spending their days in sidewalks. So depression is a child of ignorance. Instead of harping on the depression, instead of keeping ourselves well posted to that area of gloom, if we try to take a noble suggestion from the noble principles handed over to us by all great sages, even common persons, throughout the ages, in all countries, that God is within us. He is the soul of our soul, eye of our eyes, mind of our mind, intellect of our intellect, thought of our thoughts. How to come closer to it, how to develop intimate rapport with Him, how to love that infinite magazine of power, how to call it our very own. That's the problem of everybody. Matured spiritual living will get insight and will help himself or herself in times of crisis and depression to bank on that and that alone without being dissipated by the thoughts of common people. So that great rock which has been supporting, which will support till the last days of the world, is within us. Let us try to cling to it. Let us not try to alienate ourselves from that. And our little humble actions will also be highly rewarded. As Realism Swami himself says, the moment we keep faith in Him, the moment we are able to resign to Him, moment we try to hand over all our troubles to Him, moment we discover Him as our greatest friend to solve our problems, to take care of our troubles, notwithstanding our billions of blemishes and weaknesses, we are safe, we are secure. We have got every right to be happy. May we all be able to add that spiritual dimension in our life, which is already there, how to make it purer, brighter, more luminous, more stronger. That's the whole question. It is already there. Not a single person is denied. God has provided everything for our well-being. It is we, due to our ignorance, are not taking real interest in owning it. May we all be able to think deeply on the first week of the new year about the greatest magazine of power given to human being by God and its saving and redeeming potentiality in saving ourselves from all types of disasters, pains and miseries. May God, who is in our intellect, help us to understand this mystery, and may our Sattic intellect, pure intellect, spiritually illumined intellect, help us to comprehend that reality, and thereby we can make ourselves happy. Thank you. You all Happy New Year. We do have great faith in that great omniscient, omnipresent, omnipotent being, which is not neighbor to us, which is our real self. He may be almighty, at the same time He is dearest and nearest to all of us. May we all be ever protected by His benign grace. May we all be ever allowed to be protected by Him, allowed ourselves to be protected by Him. If we allow Him, then He will come to our protection. I was listening to this music. This much I can say, only to participate in this music, one's travel in coming to this place is immensely rewarded. It's a great service to the congregation, to God, to the spiritual cause for which we are here. And to be one of such participant, we find a great utility in our life. We are above the pains and aches of our life. If we are able to find out such avenues of genuine interest in cultivating spiritual awareness, we should be thankful to God. Let us have prayer or meditation. Om Asato Ma Satgamaya Tamoso Ma Jyotirgamaya Mrityorma Yamitangamaya Avir Moedi Rudra Yatte Dakshinang Mukhang Tenavang Pahinityam Om Shanti 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 Hari Om Tat Sat. May He who is the Father in heaven of the Christians, Holy One of the Jews, Allah of the Mohammedans, Buddha of the Buddhists, Tao of the Chinese, Ahura Mazda of the Zoroastrians, and Brahman of the Hindus, lead us from the unreal to the real, from darkness to light, from disease and death to immortality. May the all-loving being manifest Himself unto us. May the all-loving being manifest Himself unto us. May the all-loving being manifest Himself unto us and grant us abiding understanding and immortality. Oh, peace, peace, peace unto us all.